Let me start with NDC registration. I'm not surprised. I think I predicted it here.
Prophets will fire.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I said it. Can I predict again?
Please go ahead.
They applied to use the V sign as their logo, but they were denied. And once that application was denied, that was the end of it.
The victory sign is a global sign. It doesn't belong to anybody. It doesn't belong to PMP.
I'm not sure anybody saw that coming. But if I knew that the NDC was registered on the basis of a court judgment, I would have been expecting this sort of thing to happen.
The church asked, first, does INEC now admit that our logo does not look like that of APC? INEC said yes. Now, is PMP a registered political party? INEC said no.
Now, the judge has said, you go back and try the case afresh. What do you see coming? Oh, hey, it cannot be. Right? God Almighty.
That as a political party, I would like to hear from you firsthand. What is the current status of the NDC party as of today?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News, the Gist and Blog. This is part 3 about the NDC deregistration, because more videos are on the net. People are speaking right now, people are defending, people are causing chaos, people are angry, and people are happy because Peter Obi is not going to be on the ballot. Now, first on our list is Rufai Oseni. Rufai Oseni, some time ago, prophesied, and it was an accurate prophecy about this Bola Ahmed Tinubu, INEC, and the sitting judges collaboration to deregister opposition formidable party. And I want you guys to listen to what he said. We'll be right back.
Let me start with NDC registration. I'm not surprised. I think I predicted it here.
Prophets will fire.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I said it. Can I predict again?
Please go ahead.
More will happen. You know why?
Why?
There's a grand attempt to ensure that opposition is weakened before the election. Write it down. Grand attempt. You saw, have you scrutinized the judgment? Have you seen the CTC?
No, I haven't.
Peter Obi went to the NDC on the 3rd of May. That case was filed on the 5th of May in court. A lot of people have not even scrutinized that part I said. Peter Obi officially went to the NDC on the 3rd of May. The case was filed on the 5th of May by yet again another, faceless group and all of that. Just like the one with the ADC, the same pattern. And this justice give them. Like I predicted that since then, nothing has happened to Lifu. The only thing he got was a reprimand by the Court of Appeal.
A verbal reprimand.
A verbal reprimand. These two will go like that. So it's a direct orchestration. I think the opposition party should not sleep. They're going to have more. I mean, we've all seen the judgments. I don't want to go into legalese. It falls flat on its feet again. So the NDC has said they're going to get a stay of execution. Let's see. I would like to advise INEC, please give them the issuance code. It's not a big deal. Let parties be able to upload. Because everything is looking like a grand conspiracy when you look at this election cycle. And I don't know why some people are jittery. You see, if you are confident, let opposition into the race. Don't hold them back. Don't do anything. Don't. You see this idea that we say that I will not allow peace reign in my enemy's camp. Let your enemies breathe. Come into the race. If you say you have stake in the Nigerian people, that you are confident in them, let them. Let's not tamper with the election. Let's not touch it. If you are confident, let it go. Don't do all of this. Because all of this you are doing, in case the advisors are not advising you people well, you're already tainting the credibility of the election. By the time the elections will come, anything that happens, these are part of the stories we are going to tell. So if you feel you can win freely. Nobody's holding you from winning. But all of this shenanigan, all of this kangaroo manipulation and all of that, it's not fair. So it goes back to our initial premise that a lot of people try defending that. Oh, they are not attacking the opposition. They have their own internal scoreboard. It's obvious. Peter Obi moved to NDC on the 3rd of May. The case was filed 5th of May. The question is, these parties, didn't they feel this growth with all this while?
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. So that's what's happening.
Not just Rufai who said this. Justice Crack also said the same thing. He makes the same prophecy that as long as they deregistered ADC, definitely they will come for NDC. I thought maybe it was joking, but unfortunately it happened. NDC registration, I know that this thing will happen. This is what this particular man said on Arise TV News, why they have the autonomy, the right, the totality, the zeal, and the authority to deregister any political party. That they can do so because if he had known earlier, NDC will register based on court ruling, he would have advised them, or he knows that this kind of things will happen. Anyway, I want you guys to listen to what he said. We'll be right back.
I'm not sure anybody saw that coming. But if I knew that the NDC was registered on the basis of a court judgment, I would have been expecting this sort of thing to happen. Let's not kid ourselves. We don't leave loopholes when you're involved in any fight. And I've always been concerned about the assumption that everybody will be of good behavior when there's a fight. It doesn't work that way. The assumption that it is the business of the APC to take care of you, create a level playing field. If you want to play football, go to a pitch. It's usually level and with grass. But some people even play when there's no grass. Football is not. Football is more like a wild forest with boa constrictors, crocodiles, falling trees, poisonous spiders, dangerous animals. That's what politics is. So when you bring out your wounds, see what they did to us in Rivers. When you bring out your moral point, and that's the only thing, while you're making all these points, make sure you're digging in. Because everybody will tell you, everybody who is interested, who was part of the obedient movement will say, we know Peter won, no problem. Where are the votes? I go back to the yam example. You planted and you're sure your yam was 300,000. You bought so many hectares of land. And then you couldn't harvest. Others harvested your yam and you're saying it's a work of the devil. How many people did you deploy to have to protect the yam and then harvest and bring home? Those are the issues on the table. So yes, I agree with the point being made, but the other point, the other counterpoint is that, are you prepared? Are the measures that need to be taken being taken? Is there evidence that lessons have been learned? Who is preparing for anything? I heard that at the beginning. Take away all the quarrels among the various opposition parties about who will be presidential candidates, resolving issues that came up last night and is being resolved today. What else are they doing apart from what's going on in Abuja? So now I think the NDC has to do everything to get itself confirmed as registered and presenting a candidate. Already is running out of time. That needs to happen, and then mobilization pattern and form has to change. Dixon came out to make the point about the need for synergy between all members of the party who have followers, obedience, KWANKWASO, and the party itself. And let us not forget how Dixon himself got into becoming a governor, and how he is, and how he runs things around him. I recall when he was governor, we had gone to Rivers State in connection with a study tour on a program we were running for the military. And he received us. The first thing I noticed that was his chair was like a throne. And you had, what do you call this railing that you put when there's a dignitary coming, leading up to it and it's debarred. I said, boy, oh boy, this is a king. And you see his pronouncements. He's not going to make concessions to anybody. He's going to be sure he's an effective chairman. The way chairmen were effective in the 70s. Akinloye, we remember all of them. So, and the measure of that move of all interest is an important element. The other thing is for them to make sure they don't lose this. Nigerians will be deeply pained. Democracy will suffer. I also saw their interview. I think the party chairman, who was it? Yes, the NDC party chairman, Dixon is founder, gave an interview yesterday. In my place, they say that it is those who accompany a king that give you an idea of his stature and profile. A masquerade must have people drumming for it, must look strong enough to be frightening so children don't come to play with it. Couldn't they have got a better crowd for that interview of yesterday? Those are the things they need to pay attention to. In public communication, you're not the subject of your output. The target audience is not yourself. So you cannot expect to be satisfied with what you're saying and how you're looking and how you're feeling. And then by that self-assessment, which is actually incestuous communication, you say, yes, I gave it to them. You gave it to yourself. You pleased yourself. So
now, Barrister Darlington did not have all of those things that people are complaining about, the registration, and all of that. Barrister Darlington said that it cannot happen. We are not in military regime, neither at the time of monarch, where one person can just decide and nobody can talk, everybody's afraid. I want you guys to listen to what he said on VOP TV. We'll be right back.
Now, the judge has said, you go back and try the case afresh. What do you see coming? Oh, hey, it cannot be. Try, God Almighty. Look, they are trying to waste the time of NDC. Okoro, they are trying to waste the time of NDC. On what ground should anybody go and start this matter all over again? On what ground? PMB and their logo is not registered as a political party. So what are you going to try?
What are the implications of that, really? Because that's the part I'm going to. The fact that PNP itself, that's Peace Movement Party, as we know it as of today, today is what, 29th? 29th of June, is not a registered political party.
So what are you trying? This is a question we should ask those judges. I don't know what they are doing, no, seriously. This is turning into anarchy. Judicial anarchy. What are you going to try? You can only make a claim to something that, yes, you are legally involved. You are legally, so that you have something to hold on to. Locus. On what locus are you standing now? Please, somebody should tell me here. All
right.
Over the week, the NDC have decided to move to the next motion to file an appeal to explain that they are deemed fit and they were deemed registered by the INEC. The court ruled in their favor that the INEC should register them. But unfortunately, after the same court and the same judge The next week give the motion, he park enter. The judge say he not talk like that again. I want you guys to listen to what he said. We'll be right back.
In fact, we're not just registered. The original and substantive judgment of the court was that we're deemed to have been registered by INEC. Deemed registered. In fact, if you read the entirety of that judgment, a lot of consequential orders were made that made it look like we were actually registered by INEC from when we actually applied. INEC had a duty to register us, refused for no justification to register us after we had met all the requirements for registration. That was what drove us to court. And the court held that when INEC, in the course of hearing, admitted that the only reason for which they had refused to register us, which was that our logo resembled that of APC, not Peace Mass Move Party, whatever. The letter they wrote to us, and on the basis of which we went to court, stated that our logo resembled that of APC, All Progressives Congress. That is why we went to court. And that is why it was not necessary at the time we went to court to join any other party other than INEC. In fact, if we had any reason to have joined anybody at that stage, it would have been APC itself, because the reason for not refusing to register us was that our logo resembled that of APC, not a non-existing PMP. Now, it was only when we got to court, after we had filed and served our originating summons, that INEC, in their response to our originating summons, mentioned the name PMP, stating that our logo looked like that of PMP. It is a fundamental principle of law that you cannot reprobate and approbate. If you had given one reason for refusing to register NDC and for which we had gone to court, the moment you abandoned that reason in the course of the trial and actually admitted before the court that that reason you gave originally did not actually exist, you had conceded to that judgment. And so we had no reason from the beginning to have joined PMP. Now, basically, when they raised PMP as a reason, a new reason for which we were never told, our response was very simple. One, as at the time we went to court, there were 18 registered political parties. PMP was not one of them. Two, 171 political associations applied to be registered as political parties. PMP was not one of them. So there was no reason for you to use a non-existing PMP as a justification for not wanting to register us. In fact, during the course of the hearing, the judge asked, first, does INEC now admit that our logo does not look like that of APC? INEC said yes. Now, is PMP a registered political party? INEC said no. Is PMP one of the 171 that applied for registration? INEC said no. One would then wonder, if PMP was not one of the registered political associations during that registration process, in what way were their rights breached?
I want you guys to listen to what KWANKWASO said. The explanation KWANKWASO gave when they asked him and they battled these fractions and the registrations, the things that is going on in NDC. What is the issue with the NDC, with the INEC, with the judge that Nesewike gave motion to? I want you guys to listen to what he said.
That as a political party, I would like to hear from you firsthand. What is the current status of the NDC party as of today?
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that NDC for us is a very special party in the sense that well-meaning Nigerians applied to get it registered, and INEC, in its own wisdom, told them that the logo is similar to the logo of the APC. But anybody who actually looks at the logo that was being submitted to INEC, the court, as expected, was that the INEC should register the party because there was no similarity to the extent that the INEC would reject the application. End of December to date is 6 months. INEC did not appeal. In the contrary, they decided to register the party, meaning they did the right thing. And INEC has been attending all the programs at all levels, ranging from the congresses to the national convention And even the special convention that we and who are not representing any registered or known organization in this country, just from the blues, the same judge decided to reverse himself. As law-abiding people in this country, what we decided, of course, is to go to court as soon as possible, I believe this coming Monday, to make sure that the stakeholders are being asked to stay any action and, of course, appeal so that the registration would be restored. So this is the opportunity to appeal to our...
To top it up, now don't listen to everybody they talk, everybody they defend their parties, people they explain why they hate Peter Obi, they hate any political party Peter Obi belongs. But I want you guys to listen to what this barrister said. Listen in details to what he said about the deregistration, the reason they were deregistered, and why he thinks that this deregistration is fair or not fair. I want you guys to watch it.
The substance of the ruling, well, the ruling is predicated on the application of the applicant who has approached the court after the court delivered a judgment on the 10th of December 2025, wherein the court directed that the INEC should register the Nigeria Democratic Congress as a political party. Now, in making that decision, the court had relied on facts which the claimants before him had presented, stating that they owned a particular logo and that they had satisfied the constitutional requirements for registration. Now, after that judgment was delivered, the applicant, realizing that that judgment had been delivered and was predicated on its logo, which the applicant itself had submitted to INEC prior to that, the filing of that action, the applicant then approached the court, asking that the court vacates that decision because its rights had been affected by reason of the appropriation of its logo. So what you have witnessed today is, in the ruling, is the court considering the facts before it and arriving at a just conclusion that the right of the applicant was affected in his decision of 10th of December 2025, and that as a result, he has set aside that judgment and has ordered parties to revert to the position where they were before the judgment was delivered, and for the claimants before the court to take appropriate steps to bring in all parties and ensure that the matter is effectually and effectively determined. The parties involved are, well, some pro tem national officers of the Nigeria Democratic Congress. They had sued INEC, but the applicant that has approached the court for the purpose of the ruling we just listened to in court is a peace movement party whose national legal advisor has also come forward as a representative on the face of the process. Now, the court in the judgment of the 10th of December had ordered INEC to recognize Nigeria Democratic Congress as a political party and register it, issue a certificate of registration, and allow it to be contained on the ballot papers for the purpose of the elections. So those were the fallouts of the judgment. The judgment having been reversed this morning, those steps taken by INEC to do so in recognition and issuance of certificates would also need to be reversed. The certificates will have to be retracted. The registration and recognition on INEC database will also have to be taken out. And wherever they appear on ballot in any election before this suit is now determined, they would now have to be removed. It's ongoing by the reason of the distance. The court just vacated the orders they made and asked parties to come back. They didn't say maintain status quo. There was no such thing from the...
Anyway, this is where we are going to end this video today. I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section to tell me your thoughts. What do you think about this particular video you just watched? What do you think about the registration of NDC, ADC, and other political party? They know Peter Obi or Atiku can decamp to. These people, see. Anyway, if Nami be chief judge, if I'm a judge, they give me house. That kind of house, this kind of house now in the sea. So they give me, bro. I will crack justice now. Justice must be cracked. I will crack. If not you, knowing fully that your salary, let's say your salary now 1 million. In the next, before you even retire, you cannot afford this kind of house. Talk more about the cows. Talk more about the furniture in the house. And if now you know crack justice, The cracking of justice is very simple. The registered opposition party rule never ended because if Bola Tinubu ring election, now the same judges now go meet. Go to court. We ring her. Yes, I know. So we ring her. Go to court and prove it. And the court, when I want for go prove and I just sleep wake up for the same machine when they give and come court. May I just forget that. And the justice in Nigeria has cracked.